This week, we've seen Steam Deck support flourish among AAA games and community-led projects alike. Plus, why Valve says you shouldn't be sniffing your Steam Deck's exhaust port. And this Linux distro brings new, awesome features to the table. All this and more today. Alright, first up, let's talk about RetroDECK, because it's back with yet another stellar release. New features in this go-around include a new reset command to reset just Emulation Station DE via the configurator and the CLI. Also, if no stable core exists within a stable release of RetroArch, a nightly version of the core will be used instead. And they added the first RetroDECK Easter egg boot logo for the holiday period, made by friend of the project artist and author Wee Stewarty. They've updated all standalone emulators as well as RetroArch and its cores, and they've also implemented various fixes and other changes. Now, this is another solid release from RetroDECK. These guys are truly doing the Lord's work, and it's great to see some holiday cheer for sure. Next up, Skyrim just got Steam Deck verification, and this is some pretty good news, but the question is, which Skyrim is it? Is it the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim? No, that's only playable. Is it the Skyrim Anniversary upgrade? No, that's some kind of arcane DLC. Well, okay, is it Skyrim Anniversary Edition? Nope, that's a DLC bundle. Oh, I got it. It's gotta be Skyrim Special Edition. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully this version is more fun than Starfield and has fewer bugs, but it's a Bethesda game, and somehow they keep getting away with it. Anyway, how many versions of Skyrim are there now at this point? Over 10? Again, how do they keep getting away with it? Speaking of games getting Steam Deck support, Tetris Effect Connected just pushed this update that brings HDR support to the OLED Steam Deck. Now, I am a huge fan of this title, and it's great to see HDR support here. It's a gorgeous game, and it looks even better in HD. I've played it on my living room gaming PC on my 4K HDR OLED TV, and it looks great, and it looks fabulous on the Steam Deck. To enable HDR, go to the graphics settings in the option menu and then enable HDR. This update also optimizes the graphics quality settings for the Steam Deck for better performance in score attack and classic score attack modes. This is impressive stuff here, and I really love seeing all of the dedicated releases for the Steam Deck support. Tetris Effect isn't the only software that's improving its HDR support. Chiaki for Deck's latest release, version 1.5.0, brings HDR support to game mode on the deck. And if you're not familiar with Chiaki for Deck, it's a fork of the popular open source Chiaki streaming tool. And Chiaki for Deck will connect to your PlayStation 4 or your PlayStation 5, and it will allow you to stream your PlayStation games to the whole household. I think it even works over the internet if you set it up correctly on your router. Now, this new update isn't only about HDR support though. It also enables new libplacebo Vulkan rendering to deliver better picture quality thanks to the post-processing techniques called debanding, not to be confused with debranding. It also adds the option to map controllers by positional layout rather than by its button labels, which is pretty neat. This basically means, you don't have to use the A button as the X button if you're on like a Nintendo controller, for example. There's so much more here with this release. Chiaki for Deck is a really cool thing. I've talked about it multiple times on the channel here. Great stuff to see from the community. Now, before we move on, I want to ask you a question. Are you enjoying this video? Do you like the work that I'm doing here? Why not like that smash button? It's the best way to tell YouTube that you want to see more videos just like this. You can also subscribe if that's more your speed. I want to go ahead and thank all of the folks who support the show on Patreon and my YouTube members. These guys make what I do here a reality. Thank you so much for your support. And if you believe in the work that I'm doing and you want to help this show grow, consider making a pledge down below. And thanks. It's all greatly appreciated. Now, in more HDR news, Valve released a new version of Proton that brings with it new HDR support. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition and Injustice 2 are also now capable of outputting HDR on the OLED model. Now, since this is an experimental version of Proton, you'll actually need to enable this release of Proton for any game that you want to use it. Simply find the game in your library, use the gear icon here, and then go to the compatibility tab, and now check this box and select the version of Proton that you want to use. If you don't already have that version of Proton in your system, Steam will automatically download it, and then you should be able to just launch the game under this new Proton version just by hitting play in the library. It's pretty nifty. I like seeing this kind of stuff. Next up, we've got Bazzite Buzz, the latest version of the custom gaming distribution that we've covered a few times here on the channel. For those not in the know, Bazzite is built upon Fedora Linux. This release is based on Fedora Linux 39, and it's designed for gaming handhelds. This includes the Steam Deck, but also Ioneo devices, the Legion Go, and of course the ROG Ally. But that's not all. While they're targeting specific feature parity with SteamOS, Bazzite also aims to provide more useful features out of the box. For example, they now ship WineZ GUI, which effectively allows you to right-click on any exe and run it in Wine. That's super useful since running many non-Steam Windows applications is a huge pain in the ass on Linux, so having that option here is great. You can also use Goverlay, which brings a GUI to Mango HUD and VK Basalt. It also allows you to apply reshade post-processing effects to your games as well. Bazzite is a super fun option for anyone who's looking for an alternative to SteamOS on their Steam Deck, or if they have other less popular handhelds like the ROG Ally or the GPD Win. These things are pretty neat, and having a custom Linux distribution for these guys is awesome to see. Okay, finally, let's talk about this because I've had a lot of people ask me about this. Now, it seems that Valve has caught wind of the meme that I had a hand in starting, and they're not pleased. Reddit user Metapod100 asked Valve support about sniffing the exhaust of his Steam Deck, and a member of the support team said, quote, "While there are no safety concerns with general usage, directly inhaling the device's vent fumes should be avoided. We understand that it may be a meme, but please refrain from this behavior for the safety of your health." Fumes? Fumes? The safety of your health? What is this, a Steam Deck teardown video?
Opening up and replacing parts might mess things up, like profoundly. For example, if you damage the battery, the whole thing could catch fire later, which would be bad. So be forewarned and leave this kind of thing to professionals, unless you really feel like taking big risks with your property and with your life, which could end if you do this wrong. Just saying.
Look, it's probably not a good idea to breathe in the smell of hot Best Buy on the regular. That's what I think the Steam Deck smells like, to me anyway. It smells like a Best Buy. But honestly, it really isn't the best idea. But the question is it hazardous to your health? Are there VOCs in the exhaust or something? Who knows? We'll never know the answer to that question. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about smelling your Steam Deck? Do you think that smelling the exhaust of the Steam Deck, its fumes, is hazardous to your health? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, it's made of plastic, and plastic is absolutely toxic for everything on the planet, so I would imagine it's probably not good for you to smell, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave me them down below. Well, that's all the news I could find this week. If you leave me a comment below, it helps the show out, and I really love reading your guys' comments, hearing your thoughts about any of the stuff we've talked about. So go ahead and do that. You can also like that smash button, get subscribed, and support the show with Patreon or as a YouTube member. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!